Also known as, peerless Tangmen. Capturing goddesses from Jiang Nannan. Due to an accident, Xu Nianan traveled to Douluo Continent II, the peerless Tang Sect. He became a descendant of the imperial family of the Douling Empire and also became the brother of Xu Sanshi. Looking at the strange ceremony being held in front of Xu Nianan, a cold system prompt suddenly sounded in his mind. Capture goddess system task. Save the goddess Jiang Nannan and gain her favor, you will receive rich rewards from the system. What? System, golden finger. Goddess Jiang Nannan. Keywords of the novel. Douluo. Save Jiang Nannan at the beginning. No pop-ups, Douluo. Save Jiang Nannan at the beginning. Download the complete TXT collection, Douluo. Save Jiang Nannan at the beginning. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Saving Jiang Nannan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Saving Jiang Nannan. Chapter 1. Cutting off who, Jiang, Nan. No. Don't. Stop, don't come over. In a daze, Xu Nianan slowly opened his tired eyes. The eyelids in both eyes weighed 1,000 pounds, and Xu Nianan lifted them several times without fully opening them. The scene in front of me was blurry, as if I had been hit in a mosaic. With the shaking of my head, my gaze also shook. Xu Nianan was even more unaware of what had happened in front of him. Xu Sanshi, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and complete your bloodline awakening. Xu Sanshi. Upon hearing this name, Xu Nianan's mind was filled with a roar, as if he had opened a floodgate, and memories surged like a tide. No, I won't do it anymore. Let me go, okay. Douling Xianming Zone Xu Sanshi, Bloodline Awakening, Martial Soul, Douluo Continent. Time travel. I have traveled. Time travel has become a descendant of the imperial family of the Douling Empire, the brother of Xu Sanshi, and the young master of the Xuanming sect. Ha, with intense gasps, Xu Nianan finally opened her eyes completely and looked around at the strange turtle statues. Under the big bed stood strange black-robed people, who lowered their heads, closed their eyes, and sang in a low voice, as if they were performing some ritual. In the middle, surrounded by the black-robed man, there was a man and a woman arguing, and the woman was struggling to resist. The man's face turned red, and his eyes were bloodshot. Xiangui possessed. With a loud shout, a strange turtle shell suddenly appeared from the man, and 2 yellow circles also floated up from him. In Xu Nianan's mind, familiar images appeared, and he suddenly remembered that the man on the big bed was his younger brother, Xu Sanshi. At this moment, he is in the Xuanming sect blood awakening room, awakening the Xuanwu blood. Due to the unique awakening method of Xuanwu bloodline, it is currently listening to the woman's screams and begging for mercy in her ear. Xu Nianan's head suddenly went blank. Wait, there seems to be something wrong. Xu Sanshi, Xuanwu's bloodline awakens, and the woman seeking help is. Hiss with a shattered sound, Xu Nianan looked up towards the front and a sleeve of his hand flew out. Ding, congratulations to the host for awakening and capturing the goddess system. System release task. Save Jiang Nannan and gain her favor, you will receive generous rewards from the system. Xu Nianan was taken aback by the sudden cold reminder sound in his mind, and then became ecstatic. System, this is the standard gold finger for the traveler. But soon Xu Nianan's face collapsed again, and he looked at the scene in front of him, or at the few black-robed people by the big bed. Save Jiang Nannan. Save with your head, these old men are all elders of the Xuanming sect, with the lowest level being the strength of the soul Douluo. Although I am currently the young master of the Xuanming sect, I think of my current situation. 12. The martial soul mysterious turtle has only a small level 17 soul power, which can be said to have extremely low talent in the field of martial soul. If I hadn't been born a few seconds earlier than Xu Sanshi, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been in charge of the position of the young master of the Xuanming sect, right? When the bone age reaches 13, even Shrek cannot enter. Although he appears to be the young master, everyone in the Xuanming sect knows that he is just 1 or 2 seconds older than Xu Sanshi and was born 1 or 2 seconds earlier. As long as Xu Sanshi fully awakens his Xuanwu bloodline and his strength soars, the young master of the Xuanming sect will be renamed. No, with my current talent, if I don't complete the system's tasks, what's the difference between being dead? Thinking of everything one currently possesses, including identity and status, will be taken away by Xu Sanshi, who is about to awaken his Xuanwu bloodline. Xu Nianan bit her silver teeth. It's not possible, let's fight. No success, no mercy. Thinking of this, a warm current suddenly surged in Xu Nianan's dantian for some reason. The next second, a thick turtle shell instantly attached to his body. Xu Sanshi. Brother. So what? In the sect, this is not a place to talk about family relationships, let alone he and Xu Sanshi are both descendants of the Douling Empire royal family. Sorry, if you have to blame yourself, then blame yourself for causing trouble. The system is trying to save the people. On the big bed, a man and a woman were still fiercely fighting, but the woman's situation was becoming increasingly dangerous. As Xu Sanshi, who was in a state of martial soul possession, completely gained the upper hand, Xu Nianan quietly appeared behind him. Bang! Let go of that woman. With a loud bang, Xu Sanshi was unprepared and kicked away by Xu Nianan. Puzzy! Xu Sanshi spat out a mouthful of blood in mid-air, flew straight off the bed, and collided with the stone wall of Xuanwu not far away. Pwai pwai! The next second, a continuous sound of vomiting blood rang out, and the patterns on the Xuanwu statue flickered for a while before finally being forced to extinguish. Turning around, under Xu Nianan's surprised gaze, the people dressed in black robes all around were spitting blood from their mouths, and their bodies collapsed on the ground. Bloodline. Bloodline awakening failed. As the elderly leader slowly stood up, his eyes murmured aimlessly to himself. More and more people in black robes slowly climbed up from the ground, and Xu Nianan gradually felt the pressure. There are countless thoughts in my mind, and in the end, I have no choice but to end of this chapter. Chapter 2. Beginner Gift Pack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Beginner Gift Pack. Chapter 2 Beginner Gift Pack. Wow! Xu Nianan turned around, took off his dark red coat, and draped it over the woman's body. I don't know if I sensed Xu Nianan's gaze, or rather if my coat was covering her. Instantly, it reminded her of the scene of Xu Sanshi's fierce face during the competition. Jiang Nannan's small body trembled like a frightened little rabbit. Watching the other person's overly frightened appearance, Xu Nianan felt a bit helpless. Although I really don't want to disturb her at this time. But there's no way, everything I did before needs to be explained, and the explanation I have to hand over is Jiang Nannan. That's right, it's Jiang Nannan. Since it's because of her, let's put an end to this matter ourselves. Jiang Nannan, are you okay? Xu Nianan's voice was gentle, with a hint of caution and exploration. It seemed that she had heard her own nickname, and Jiang Nannan's body stiffened, no longer trembling. Looking up, she saw a strange face. Xu Nianan has three-dimensional facial features and fair skin, which sets her apart from her twin brother the most. He has long silver hair, and even his eyes are eerie blue-white, giving people a feeling of melancholy, pathology, and coldness. Xu Nianan lowered her body and grabbed Jiang Nannan's shoulders with both hands, seemingly gently lifting her up. In secret, he spoke slowly in a voice that only two people could hear. Listen, if you don't want to go through what happened just now, be caught back and continue to help him, and save your mother. If you want to leave here, just listen to me. After hearing Xu Nianan's words, Jiang Nannan was once again aroused and looked up with a frightened expression at Xu Nianan. I didn't expect to have just escaped from the tiger's den and stepped into the wolf's den again. That's right, Jiang Nannan came here to help his mother. I thought the other party would ask me to sign a contract of sale, but I didn't expect it to be this, and it will be executed immediately. This has caused great trauma to her young soul. Finally, someone appeared and saved her. Originally, Jiang Nannan thought she could be liberated. Unexpectedly, every word Xu Nianan said and every action she did seemed to be saving herself, but was it also a disguised threat to herself? Xu Nianan, look at the good deeds you have done yourself, which have disrupted the awakening of your bloodline. Can you bear this responsibility? Xu Nianan, let alone the failure of your own bloodline awakening. Now that you have caused the Three Stones bloodline awakening to also fail, do you know this will provoke the sect leader's anger? Faced with the accusations of those wearing black robes one by one, Xu Nianan remained calm. Responsibility. Anger. Instead of thinking about how to punish me, why don't you think about whether that wicked beast who tried to bully my brother and sister in law should be executed? Bullying brother and sister in law. Upon hearing this word, Xu Sanshi, who fell from the Xuanwu statue, was furious and spewed out a mouthful of blood before completely fainting. Seeing Xu Sanshi fainting, Xu Nianan breathed a sigh of relief. Now it's okay, Xu Sanshi is unconscious, and the awakening of his bloodline should not continue. This can be considered as saving Jiang Nannan. But how should I solve this situation now? Xu Nianan, if you say she's your woman, she's your woman. The clan elder has tested and found that she is a purine body, which means she has not yet broken through. It's hard for us not to doubt that you have not awakened your own bloodline successfully, and then retaliate against Sanshi. Yes, I see you're retaliating against Sanshi. He's your younger brother. Listening to the clamor of the campaign coming from beside his ears, the black-robed old man led by him felt a little helpless and suddenly took off his hat, revealing an old face. That's enough. After this scolding fell, the scene instantly quieted down. Xu Nianan, didn't you say she was your person? Alright, you can prove it. After proving it, the person can take it away, but you have to bear all the responsibilities afterwards. Proof. How to prove it? Like Xu Sanshi, do we have a scene on site? Xu Nianan lowered her head and instantly met Jiang Nannan's gaze. Still using a voice that only two people could hear, Xu Nianan slowly spoke up. Kiss me. After hearing Xu Nianan's words, Jiang Nannan's eyes widened instantly. Don't talk, kiss me. If you don't want to be arrested and continue to be insulted, if you want your mother to receive treatment, if you want me to take you out, if you want me not to be punished by the family, kiss me. Seeing Jiang Nannan's widened eyes, the emotions in them were complex, ranging from panic to fear, Xu Nianan knew. Perhaps what I said before made the other person misunderstand, but now I don't have much time to explain to her. We can only walk one way to the dark, or to put it another way, let me explain it a bit. As for how to view and understand, it can only depend on what the other person thinks. Forget it, Jiang Nannan, why not compromise yourself for the sake of your mother? Originally, Jiang Nannan had already planned to sign a contract to sell her body this time, but she didn't expect it. She didn't react for a moment, thinking that she was about to be insulted, and almost instinctively began to struggle. After reacting, she suddenly felt relieved. It only takes some time, and if I only lose some time, I can exchange it for my mother's healthy companionship. I don't need to sign a contract to sell myself, isn't it more profitable? And this is not the person who wants to force himself to do anything wrong. It's better to give it to him than to give it to someone who is willing to act recklessly. Ding, complete the system task, save Jiang Nannan, and gain her favor. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the beginner gift pack. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Xuanwu Divine Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Xuanwu Divine Pill. Chapter 3 Xuanwu Divine Pill. Ding, congratulations to the host for unlocking the goddess Jiang Nannan. Please capture the goddess's heart as soon as possible. Ding, goddess Jiang Nannan's favorability has increased by 10. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Xuanwu divine pill. Listening to the series of system prompts ringing in his mind, Xu Nianan actually didn't hear them clearly or even paid attention to them. He lowered his head and looked at Jiang Nannan, whose gaze was fixed on him, but he remained dazed and unresponsive for a long time. I have already gained the favor and the system's tasks have been completed. If I do something to her now, there shouldn't be any problem, right? After all, now, no matter what I say, it's like changing direction and saving her once. Do whatever you want, in order to have a good explanation for yourself. Since Jiang Nannan doesn't kiss herself, I'm sorry, I can only do it myself. Xu Nianan lowered her body fiercely, her lips pressed against Jiang Nannan's red lips, tightly holding onto her dark red coat. Originally, Xu Nianan had already placed her hands on the back of Jiang Nannan's head, thinking that if she struggled for a while, she would come straight to the point. At least give yourself an explanation in front of these elders, otherwise Jiang Nannan might have saved himself, but what should he do? In fact, fundamentally, Xu Nianan completed the system's tasks to save Jiang Nannan in order to become stronger and develop better. It's not about risking one's own life just for the sake of being a woman. I'm not a romantic brain, I should prioritize my own interests. Originally, Xu Nianan had already prevented Jiang Nannan from rebelling, but what surprised Xu Nianan was that Jiang Nannan not only did not resist, but also began to be cautious and respond lightly, driven by himself. Ha, ha, ha. After a long time, with a burst of rapid breathing, Xu Nianan and Jiang Nannan separated. Xu Nianan turned his head expressionlessly to look at the old man in charge. Is this proof enough? Xu Nianan's tone at this moment was already filled with anger. Listening and watching, it was indeed quite similar to that. The old man opened his mouth, but before he could speak, Xu Nianan's indifferent voice rang out again. I will report this matter to my father, and at that time, let the elders explain it themselves. After speaking, Xu Nianan ignored the crowd present and took Jiang Nannan's hand and walked straight through the crowd, leaving the blood awakening room. Jiang Nannan has a tall and slender figure, wearing Xu Nianan's dark red coat. A pair of tall, snow-white legs were exposed to the air like this. She lowered her head all the way, closely following Xu Nianan and being led by him. A head of golden long hair covered her face, making it impossible to see her expression at this moment. However, from the bright red ears beneath her long golden hair, it can be seen that she must be very nervous. What she just did also made her very shy. Arriving at the entrance of Xuanming sect, Xu Nianan ordered someone to prepare a carriage and led Jiang Nannan out of Xuanming sect's territory. Following Jiang Nannan's silent prompts, Xu Nianan and his group entered a small village. After getting off the carriage, Xu Nianan took her to a dilapidated courtyard. Look at the clothes on the hanger, there are ones similar to Jiang Nannan. This should be Jiang Nannan's home. Returning to her familiar courtyard, Jiang Nannan breathed a clear sigh of relief. He tightened his coat tightly and glanced at Xu Nianan with a blush on his face. Thank you. Thank you for really bringing me out. Ding, goddess Jiang Nannan's favorability has been increased by 1. Congratulations to the host for increasing the lifespan of their first soul ring by 100 years. Ding, goddess Jiang Nannan's favorability has been increased by 1. Congratulations to the host for increasing the lifespan of their first soul ring by 100 years. Goddess Jiang Nannan's current favorability. 12. Upon hearing this, Xu Nianan's lips curved into a smile. Is that all? After hearing Xu Nianan's words, Jiang Nannan was taken aback and didn't know what he meant. You promise with your own life. After hearing Xu Nianan's words, Jiang Nannan's face immediately turned red. But there was no shy expression on his face, instead he looked angry. Sure enough, you are just like them. Speaking, Jiang Nannan shook his hand and shook Xu Nianan's hand away. With a gentle flip of his body, two soul rings, Huang and Huang, appeared. The right leg, wearing stockings, appeared in front of Xu Nianan's face almost the next second. Bang! Xu Nianan dared not be careless and quickly possessed his martial soul to resist. Do you want to? Do you want to be so fierce? Looking at her beautiful legs in front of her, Xu Nianan had no time to appreciate them, because in the next second, when she wanted to see a different scenery, the soul of her Xu quickly approached her eyes. Done. My current soul power is only a pitiful level 17, while Jiang Nannan is estimated to be almost level 30, level 2789. Under absolute suppression of soul power, Xu Nianan cannot defeat Jiang Nannan at all. The initial kick was just a hasty resistance, and now my arms have become numb. Cough, cough, cough. As he was about to be kicked away, a sudden and rapid cough came from the room in the yard. Mother. Jiang Nannan's face turned pale, and the foot that was about to kick Xu Nianan in the eyes quickly stopped. Turning around, I was about to go see my mother, but in the next second, I stopped my body and turned to look at Xu Nianan. Pop it. Looking at Jiang Nannan kneeling in front of him, Xu Nianan did not speak. Please, please save my mother. Jiang Nannan knew that the person who had promised to stay for a while and treat her mother would not come. After all, they didn't do anything and even messed it up. It's good if they don't retaliate. Now her expectations are on Xu Nianan. Previously, he was willing to save himself and said there were similar ways to save his mother. There should be a way to save my mother, but Jiang Nannan suddenly remembered that there is no wasted lunch in the world. If you want something, you must give up something, otherwise. Thinking of what had happened to him before, Jiang Nannan couldn't help but feel a chill and immediately pleaded again. I promise you, as long as you save my mother, I am willing. I am willing to marry you as an adult and make a promise with my own life. Upon hearing this, Xu Nianan was taken aback. Previously, asking her to commit to him was just a joke, but he didn't expect her to take it seriously. Thinking of Jiang Nannan's personality, after this incident in his past life, he has always resented Xu Sanshi. If he were to take advantage of someone's danger at this time. Don't even think about it. It's estimated that within 5 or 6 years, this level of favorability will not be enough to capture the goddess's heart. After some trouble, Xu Nianan may only be able to exchange his life for Jiang Nannan's forgiveness before he can conquer her. Xu Nianan shuddered. This seemingly gentle girl has a cold heart and dares to be cruel to herself. She can't just pick sesame seeds and lose watermelons. Turning her gaze to the system space, Xu Nianan's right hand flashed and a beam of light lit up. No need, I don't want to take advantage of someone's situation. This is what I promised you, and I will definitely do it. Ding, congratulations to the host for extracting the Xuanwu divine pill. New writers seek support, criticism, and insights. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Treating Jiang Nannan's mother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Treating Jiang Nannan's mother. Chapter 4. Treating Jiang Nannan's mother. This is. Jiang Nannan looked at the pill in Xu Nianan's hand, which emitted a dark green light, and her eyes widened instantly. Although she didn't know what it was, it looked very valuable at first glance. It's definitely not something that rural girls like her can afford. In fact, this is indeed true. Xuanwu divine pill, even if placed throughout the Douluo Continent, is one of the top quality pills. For soul masters, there is an irresistible temptation. Xuanwu divine pill is the top treasure medicine of my Xuanming sect. After taking it, it has the effect of breaking through the realm, stimulating the potential of soul masters, improving their physical fitness, and healing major injuries such as dying. Watching Jiang Nannan look at Xuanwu Shendan curiously and cautiously, Xu Nianan explained slightly. Thank you. Thank you. After explaining, Jiang Nannan pursed her lips and finally barely uttered 3 words. She felt a bit embarrassed. After all, with just a thank you, she wanted Xu Nianan to take out such a valuable thing to save her mother. Indeed, it appears a bit pale. But she's not good yet, and she can't refuse. After all, the one lying on the hospital bed in the house now is her own mother. Xu Nianan didn't reply, just gave Jiang Nannan a faint glance, and then raised the Xuanwu divine pill in his right hand to Jiang Nannan. Here. I think your mother needs you even more now. Ding, Goddess Jiang Nannan's favorability has increased by 1. Ding, Goddess Jiang Nannan's favorability has increased by 1. Ding, Goddess Jiang Nannan's favorability has increased by 1. The current Goddess Jiang Nannan's favorability towards the host is 15 points. At the moment of taking the Xuanwu divine pill from Xu Nianan's hand, Jiang Nannan's eyes turned red, tears swirling in them, but still stubbornly did not flow down. With a sigh, Xu Nianan turned around and instantly saw the Xuanming sect guard standing at the door. I should go now. Jiang Nannan's favorability has already reached 15, and Xu Nianan is still quite satisfied with it. It seems that I have used a very precious Xuanwu divine pill, but this Xuanwu divine pill was originally rewarded by Jiang Nannan when he broke through his liking. Now, I have exchanged it for a higher favor from Jiang Nannan. It's equivalent to spending a lot of money on my favoritism. No, it's not right, I also made a profit. Xu Nianan looked at the novice gift package floating quietly in the system space and slowly extended her hand. A warm and weak hand gripped it. Xu Nianan was taken aback. What kind of situation is this? Turning around, Jiang Nannan tilted her head and smiled at herself. Why don't you follow me to treat my mother? Without waiting for Xu Nianan to refuse, Jiang Nannan started pulling Xu Nianan towards the house. Cough, cough, cough. Just as I stepped into the house, waves of rapid coughing echoed again. Xu Nianan looked around and saw that the decorations around her home were very simple. It couldn't be any simpler. It looks a bit shabby, but Xu Nianan didn't see anything dirty and messy inside, at most it's a bit lacking. Although the house is a bit short, it can be seen that someone has carefully taken care of it. Follow Jiang Nannan to a master bedroom, where there is a large bed with a beautiful blonde woman lying on top of a white cloth. Jiang Nannan skillfully came to the bedside, took off a white cloth, washed it in a nearby bucket, and then wiped the sweat from the blonde woman's forehead. After finishing all of this, Jiang Nannan suddenly turned to look at Xu Nianan. What should I do? Xu Nianan knew that Jiang Nannan was saying what to do now, whether to feed her directly or to break it and feed her. After taking a glance at Jiang Nannan's mother's condition, Xu Nianan remained silent for a while before speaking leisurely. In your mother's current state, crushing and eating is actually the best. However, after crushing the Xuanwu divine pill, it will affect its medicinal power. So, you'd better feed her directly and then use soul power to assist her in refining medicinal power. Upon hearing this, Jiang Nannan nodded. After looking at the scenery outside the window, Xu Nianan frowned. At this point, the sun has already set in the western mountains. Even if we rush back now, it is impossible to reach the Xuanming sect before dark. Moreover, Xu Nianan also noticed that Jiang Nannan kept herself because she was afraid that the medicine would not work, and she was also afraid that she would have problems using it. With Xu Nianan here, she can at least put half of her heart at ease. However, in this case, Xu Nianan may not be able to leave here in a short period of time. Watching Jiang Nannan take the Xuanwu divine pill and put it into the mouth of the blonde beauty, then feed a little more water. Taking off a pair of light gold high heels, revealing a pair of jade feet wrapped in pink and gold stockings, slowly and cautiously climbed onto the bed. At that moment, Xu Nianan's heart suddenly calmed down. The distractions in my mind were dispelled, and I couldn't even think about it. Today, I went to disturb Xu Sanshi and failed to awaken his bloodline. The Xuanming sect will punish me in the future. Looking at Jiang Nannan's cautious and clumsy appearance, Xu Nianan's lips curved into a smile. Aren't you curious about me? Xu Nianan stood by the window, smiling and looking at Jiang Nannan. Jiang Nannan had just come to his mother's back, helped her up, pressed her hands against her, wrapped her in soul power, and helped her refine medicinal power. When he heard Xu Nianan's words, he was taken aback. After realizing it, I also felt a bit strange. At the beginning, Xu Nianan's words of warning and comfort echoed in his mind. Afterwards, for some unknown reason, I believed him because he said he could help my mother. Watching Jiang Nannan fall into thought, Xu Nianan shook her head and said to herself, I know you and have seen you. Isn't that right? In her previous life, this girl was already miserable. Fortunately, in this life, she avoided a tragic childhood because of herself. My name is Xu Nianan, the young master of Xuanming sect. The person who wants to invade you and has ulterior motives towards you is my younger brother. Upon hearing this, Jiang Nannan's eyes widened instantly. Although she felt that Xu Nianan's identity was not simple, she could rescue herself from the territory of the Xuanming sect. But she never expected that Xu Nianan's identity would be so complicated. You should know that the Xuanming sect not only has a great influence in their local soul master world, but even in the spirit fighting empire, few people can leave it. Basically, it is the national ancestor of the Douling Empire. And the person in front of her is such a powerful young master, the future heir. In an instant, Jiang Nannan's mind was full of thoughts. Why on earth did he save me? Why does he need to help himself? Cough. Nan. Before she could figure out why, a weak voice sounded under a burst of green light. Mother. Ding, the goddess's favorability towards the host increases by 10. Ding, the goddess's favorability towards the host increases by 10. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Divine Blood Enhancement and Martial Soul Evolution. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Divine Blood Enhancement and Martial Soul Evolution. Chapter 5. Divine Blood Enhancement and Martial Soul Evolution. Ding, congratulations to the host for gaining a 10% increase in the favor of the goddess Jiang Nannan. Host rescue goddess Jiang Nannan's mother Jiang Shui, goddess Jiang Nannan's liking for the host has skyrocketed. What? What situation? Helped Jiang Nannan's mother, and my favoritism reached 50. Xu Nianan was shocked, but soon realized it. Also, if her mother was not important to Jiang Nannan, then in the original work, she would not have taken that step for her mother. I just didn't expect it to be cheaper for me. Ding, congratulations to the host goddess Jiang Nannan for reaching a liking level of 50 and a liking level of 50. You can obtain a 10,000 world extraction item once. Ding, Jiang Nannan's martial soul affinity has increased by 50%. Ding, congratulations to the host for increasing the lifespan of the first soul ring by 100 years. Ding, congratulations to the host for increasing the lifespan of the first soul ring by 100 years. Ding, congratulations on the first soul ring age of the host, reaching 999 years. Is this poking a hole in the system? The constant sound of cold system prompts in his mind instantly froze Xu Nianan in place. What shocked him the most was that his first soul ring had been directly strengthened to 999 years ago, only 1 year away from breaking through 1,000 years. Ding, congratulations to the host for increasing the favor of the goddess Jiang Nannan. Her soul power level has been increased by 1, her Xianshui Dan has been increased by 3, her personal clothing has been increased by 1, and her white silk rabbit ear ladies fun uniform has been increased by 1. Another series of system prompts made Xu Nianan ecstatic. However, it seems that something strange has mixed in. However, none of these are important. Mother, how do you feel about you? Are you feeling better now? Jiang Shui listened to Jiang Nannan's voice and slowly opened her eyes. Nan. Trembling, he reached out his hand to touch Jiang Nannan's face. I think my aunt needs to rest now. At this moment, Xu Nianan's voice slowly sounded. Jiang Shui turned her gaze towards the direction where Xu Nianan's voice came from. Nan. Is this? Upon hearing his mother Jiang Shui's inquiry, Jiang Nannan quickly explained. This is the person who saved you. If it weren't for him, perhaps you wouldn't have recovered so early. Seeing this, Jiang Shui quickly wanted to get up and thank her. Xu Nianan waved his hand and looked at Jiang Nannan without any hesitation. Nan, do you have any other available rooms at your house? I think I will be staying overnight at your house tonight. Xu Nianan and Jiang Nannan were members of the Xuanming sect who left by carriage. Now the carriage is parked outside the courtyard, guarded by a strong Soul King-level warrior. In fact, as long as Xu Nianan thinks, he can definitely take advantage of the late night to return to the Xuanming sect. But the things that happened before probably caused trouble for Xuanming sect long ago. If I go back now, I don't have to think about sleeping anymore. Maybe I will also get punished by the elder. Xu Nianan has just received the reward and has a great interest in the system. He doesn't want to return to the Xuanming sect to receive punishment. Moreover, he still hasn't opened the beginner gift package. Room. Yes. After hearing Xu Nianan's inquiry, Jiang Nannan pondered for a moment, as if she had made some decision, and nodded firmly. Immediately, he took Xu Nianan out of the master bedroom and arrived at the side bedroom. He opened the door and in an instant, a faint fragrance of a young girl came through. Pink walls, pink beds and duvet covers, and a pink rabbit doll placed at the head of the bed. What kind of spare room is this? It's clearly Jiang Nannan's own boudoir. Xu Nianan was slightly surprised. He really didn't expect that Jiang Nannan would just give up his room. Oh, if I live here, where do you live? Are you really ready to make a promise and repay me with your own life? After hearing Xu Nianan's words, Jiang Nannan blushed and lowered her head slightly. Her long golden hair covered the upper half of her face. To Xu Nianan's surprise, this time Jiang Nannan did not question as angrily as he did when he first heard the news, and then fought fiercely. Is this the difference in favorability reaching 50 after treating her mother? After hearing Xu Nianan's words this time, Jiang Nannan fell silent. Yes, it was silence. And it was still a shy silence. Watching the silent Jiang Nannan, Xu Nianan knew there was a play. But of course not now. I think we are still young and should prioritize our studies, so could you give me some time? Jiang Nannan looked up, his eyes full of confusion and his tone cautiously probing. Thinking of someone like Jiang Nannan, who appears gentle on the surface but is actually very tough in the dark, he shows his softness to himself. Xu Nianan's heart skipped a beat. It has to be said that Jiang Nannan truly deserves the words goddess. She has a tall and slender figure with long legs, blonde hair, and delicate facial features, although the scale in front of her did not satisfy Xu Nianan very much. But when it comes to time, she is only 12 years old, so it can only be said that she has enormous potential for development. I will give you time to slowly adapt and even accept me. However, during this time, you are not allowed to like anyone except me. According to the description in the original work, at the age of 12, Jiang Nannan applied to Shrek College. At the age of 12, with a level of 20.7 or 8, of course, he successfully entered Shrek Academy and became a core disciple of the Martial Soul Department's outer courtyard. And she also became one of the beautiful women in the outer courtyard, making countless men wonder how many people are the teachers in their dreams at night. Think of the person the other person will face after entering Shrek. Despite having a 50% favorable rating from Jiang Nannan, Xu Nianan still feels insecure. At present, he is also 12 years old and is studying at the Royal College of Douling. Douling Academy, soul power is only a pitiful level 17. Oh no, just now, because it improved Jiang Nannan's liking, he was promoted one level. Reached level 18 soul power. Well, I promise you. Jiang Nannan nodded. Looking at the other person's serious attitude, Xu Nianan still felt a bit insecure. Jiang Nannan is the first goddess she unlocks herself. What if she can't take good care of her and gets dug into by someone else? What if she encounters someone like herself who is thick-skinned and craves someone else's body? Under various pressures, Xu Nianan looked at the novice gift package floating quietly in the system space. System, open the beginner's gift pack. As a package emitting a golden glow exploded in Xu Nianan's mind, a cold system prompt sound slowly rang out. Ding, congratulations to the host for opening the beginner gift pack and receiving rewards. Divine level blood vessels are strengthened once, the blood vessels of the 4 divine beasts are awakened once, and the Xuanwu god Dan is increased by 3. As 3 things flew out of the gift package, Xu Nianan's head went blank and her breathing began to gradually become rapid. Bang! 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 My heart is like a thunder drum. Ah! With a mournful scream, Xu Nianan involuntarily arched his body, his soul power surging throughout his body, and irregular cracks began to appear on the surface of his body. What's wrong? Xu Nianan, what's wrong with you? Xu Nianan's body softened and she was about to fall to the ground. Seeing this, Jiang Nannan quickly went to help. Pop it. Both of them collapsed on the bed. At the moment of touching Xu Nianan's skin, Jiang Nannan felt extremely hot. No, this way people will burn out. Jiang Nannan thought Xu Nianan had a fever, hesitated for a moment, and then slowly untied his shirt. Suddenly, a white-green light shattered the roof, shooting straight into the sky. At this time, Xu Nianan's blood vessels were undergoing transformation, and a new blood vessel was emerging. End of this chapter. Did you do or didn't you do chapter 6? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Did you do or didn't you do chapter 6? Did you do or didn't you do chapter 6? Outside an inconspicuous village courtyard in Jiangnan, a luxurious carriage was parked quietly, and not far away was a bonfire. Beside the fire was a courtyard, where a middle-aged man closed his eyes and leaned against the fence to take a nap. Bang! Boom! Ah! A mournful scream suddenly came from the house in the courtyard behind the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man suddenly opened his eyes, and as he turned around, a beam of light shot straight into the sky. Not good, young master. This person is none other than Xu Nianan, who brought out the guards from the Xuanming sect. Seeing Xu Nianan's screams coming from inside, there was also an accident. He didn't care about Xu Nianan's instructions and was not allowed to step into the hospital for half a step. With a gentle leap, he flipped over the fence inside the courtyard, and at some point, strange animal armor had already grown on his back. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, and black, with 5 standard soul rings floating quietly beside him, he is truly a soul king. In Jiang Nannan's boudoir. Since Xu Nianan had problems, Jiang Nannan has not been idle. First, he felt a fever all over his body, and his body was scorching hot, thinking it was a fever. Unleashed Xu Nianan's shirt, revealing her pure white skin. However, in no time, Xu Nianan's body began to turn cold again, at an extremely fast rate. Almost in the blink of an eye, the air Xu Nianan exhaled turned into cold air. What's going on here? Xu Nianan's sudden hot and cold state almost frightened Jiang Nannan and left him in a daze at a loss. Fortunately, she still knows that Xu Nianan is cold and needs to keep warm. After finally digging out the dusty quilt from the cabinet, before Xu Nianan could cover it, Jiang Nannan was shocked to find it. Xu Nianan was trembling all over, and there were ice shards on her body. No, no, it will freeze. Quickly cover the quilt for Xu Nianan. Watching Xu Nianan still shivering from the cold, Jiang Nannan frowned and anxiously walked back and forth in the room. Watching Xu Nianan's face turn whiter and whiter, even her lips began to turn purple from the cold, with a look of exhaustion. Jiang Nannan can't sit still. Xu Nianan is her mother's life-saving benefactor, and Jiang Nannan cannot refuse to save her from death. Stepping down from the light gold high heels on his slender ankles, he slowly walked towards the big bed, lifted the comforter, and a cold breath emerged. Looking at the strange turtle pattern appearing behind Xu Nianan's back, Jiang Nannan frowned. Mingming. Mingming didn't take off his clothes just now, but why? Why? Unfortunately, now is not the time to consider this. Jiang Nannan extended a pair of soft, boneless, slender hands and slowly pressed against Xu Nianan's bare upper back. Soul power injected slightly, and suddenly the ice on Xu Nianan's back began to slowly dissolve. In front of Xu Nianan's chest, a bird pattern burning with flames began to slowly emerge. Jiang Nannan placed her hands on Xu Nianan's back and didn't even take 30 seconds. She was surprised to find that the cold ice on Xu Nianan's body quickly melted, the body temperature increased and returned to normal. However, before Jiang Nannan could retrieve her hands, the warmth emanating from them made her face change. Not good. Here we go again. The flames began to burn on Xu Nianan's upper body, and Jiang Nannan was startled by the sight. I know, this is really going to kill people. With pursed lips, Jiang Nannan's gaze remained firm, as if she had made up her mind. She let go of her hand and began slowly taking off her shirt. She decided to use soul power to cool her body and then let the temperature on Xu Nianan's body drop. Buzz, buzz. In mid-air, a bird, a turtle, and a rabbit appeared, burning flames as the bird wanted to eat the rabbit. The rabbit ran to seek shelter under the turtle shell, while Xuanwu, who had a dragon-headed turtle body in a snake creature dragging on its back, was angered. However, it could not help but see the flaming vermilion bird. Forced to survive, the turtle and the rabbit began to slowly merge. With the speed of the rabbit, Xuanwu began to slowly suppress the vermilion bird. Ding, congratulations on upgrading the host martial soul turtle to one of the 4 sacred beasts, Ice Xuanwu. Ding, congratulations to the host for awakening one of the 4 holy beasts, the vermilion bird bloodline, and obtaining the top level beast martial soul vermilion bird. Ding. Congratulations to the host for increasing their soul power by 1. Ding. Congratulations to the host for increasing their soul power by 1. Ding, congratulations on the host's soul power reaching level 20. With a series of cold prompts ringing in his mind, Xu Nianan's consciousness slowly returned to his mind. He opened his eyes in a daze and saw a wave of snow. White and a different kind of touch. Turning her head, Jiang Nannan beside her blushed slightly, closed her eyes, and it was obvious that she had fallen asleep. Bang! Young master. Check the water meter. Wow! Seeing someone break in, Xu Nianan ignored himself and waved his hand, quickly covering Jiang Nannan beside him. It doesn't matter if you read it yourself, but others can't. Looking at the guards of the Xuanming sect who forcibly broke in, Xu Nianan's face was very ugly. Who let you in? Get out of here. With a loud explosion, blocks of blue and ice-colored xuanjia began to slowly attach to Xu Nianan's body. Sensing the coldness emanating from Xu Nianan's body, guarding Xu Ming like falling into an ice cave, especially the strong sense of oppression emanating from Xu Nianan's body. I actually felt a sense of oppression on the young master, but how could it be that I am the Soul King and the other party? Just a small soul master with 17-level soul power. Wait. In an instant, Xu Ming's eyes froze and he looked at the deep yellow, purple-emitting first soul ring floating beside Xu Nianan. His eyes widened, revealing disbelief. It's not that he noticed the change in Xu Nianan's first soul ring, but rather that he sensed the fluctuation of level 20 soul power from Xu Nianan. But how could this be possible? You should know that when I got on the carriage in the Xuanming sect before, the opponent's soul power was only at level 17. In just a few hours now, I have been promoted 3 levels in a row. No, it's not right, it's not right. Looking at the martial soul on Xu Nianan's body, it's not the inherited martial soul of the Xuanming sect. I looked at the little golden hair on the bed that was covered by a blanket, but could it be? Is it possible that the young master's bloodline has awakened and his martial soul has undergone perfect evolution? In an instant, Xu Ming figured it out. Besides this explanation, there is no other explanation. How could anyone increase their soul power by 3 levels in a short period of time? Unless there is a significant change in the martial soul. In an instant, Xu Ming's face was filled with joy. Bang closed the door again, but this time he didn't wait outside the hospital. Instead, he leaned against the wall of the door. He was only separated by a wall from Xu Nianan, and he didn't want anything unexpected to happen to Xu Nianan. Moreover, Xu Nianan has a rising momentum. If he really becomes the leader of the sect, wouldn't he also achieve great success in the future? Slightly lifting a corner of the blanket, allowing Jiang Nannan to breathe normally, Xu Nianan watched quietly for a while. She hasn't woken up from all this noise, it seems. It seems she's really tired. Looking at the casually placed high heels under the bed and the scattered clothes on the bed, Xu Nianan's expression was complex. Did you do it yourself or didn't you do it? P.S. It's not my buddy. If I don't want it, then you really won't give it, right? Recommend tickets and comments, be more conscious. I don't have the idea to recommend the female lead. How can I know if you don't tell me? How can I write it? End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Evil Alex. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Evil Ilix. Chapter 7 Evil, Alex. P.S. This Alex is not the same as Huiyuhao, but the protagonist will help the evil Alex snatch that half of his soul body and obtain the purified memory of Alex. Of course, it's not that Xu Nianan insists on getting entangled in this. However, this is related to the difficulty of conquering Jiang Nannan. Goddess Jiang Nannan. 50% favorability towards the host, no increase, no decrease. Sniffed his nose, there was no strange smell, scattered soul power to perceive carefully, and there was no smell of blood. This should be really not done, right? Forget it, let's not dwell on this anymore. Even if we do it, it's okay. Anyway, it will always be my own in the future. With a 50% favorability, Xu Nianan believes that she may be one of Jiang Nannan's favorite people in this world. The first one is her mother Jiang Shui. System, open the panel that belongs to me. Capture Goddess System, Host. Xu Nianan, Age 12, Soul Power. Level 20, Martial Soul. Ice, Xuanwu, Vermilion Bird, Soul Ring. Yellow, the first Soul Ring has a lifespan of 999 years, item. Number of times to draw items from the world. Xuanwu Divine Pill 3, Xianshui Pill 3, after the evolution of the martial soul, it became Xuanwu, and not only that, it also awakened another martial soul, Zhuke, and became a twin martial soul. Thinking about the origins of these two martial souls, Xu Nianan couldn't help but fantasize about what they could bring him. Ultimate Ice, Ultimate Fire, Dual Extremes. Usually, a person gains either, even if they are the top talents on the mainland, and they have both. Thinking of this, Xu Nianan almost couldn't control his ambition. Now that the soul power has reached level 20, it is necessary to hunt soul beasts to obtain soul rings in order to break through again, so there is no need to rush to take Xuanwu Divine Pill and Xianshui Pill. Although fundamentally, soul power has always been stored within the body and can accumulate even without breaking through. But Xu Nianan enjoyed the process even more. So, all I need to do now is wait for tomorrow to come. Then return to the Xuanming sect and wait for the arrival of one's orthodoxy. No, maybe now, there's one more thing I can do on my own. Xu Nianan looked at the item in the storage space of the system, which had been extracted by Wanjie for one time. This is what the system rewards when Xu Nianan's favorability towards Jiang Nannan reaches 50%. As for the function of this thing, it goes without saying, simply put, it can obtain things from countless worlds besides this one. I don't know how lucky I will be after crossing over. After pondering for a while, Xu Nianan decisively used Wanjie to extract items multiple times. Ding, Wanjie item has been successfully extracted and used, reducing the number of times by 1. System extraction. With a long rotation of the system, after a long time, the cold system prompt sound rang again. Ding, congratulations to the host for extracting the divine seal throne luck character, residual hatred, electrox, evil, dot. Upon seeing the system prompt, Xu Nianan was taken aback. Alex. Wait, what seems to be wrong? Isn't this one of Huiyuhao's cheats? How did he draw it himself? What should I do if I extract that Huiyuhao? His. Before Xu Nianan could react, a black light suddenly flew from the broken roof above her head, shooting directly into Xu Nianan's mind. Wait, no, it hurts, ding, remnant hate, Electrolux, evil, is taken from the demonized Electrolux of the Son of Light. Is the demonized Electrolux completely unrelated to the Electrolux obtained by Huiyuhao after being whitewashed? Soul, I need a soul. Just as Xu Nianan was pondering, a gloomy voice suddenly came from the depths of his mind. Xu Nianan's body stiffened and her consciousness was instantly pulled into a sea of stars. Looking at the endless sea of stars, Xu Nianan was somewhat surprised, but soon realized it. I'm afraid this is the spiritual sea that has not been fully opened up. What kind of person are you? Where is this? As these two cold voices fell, Xu Nianan could clearly feel her body, oh no, it should be called soul. It began to slowly stiffen, shiver, and involuntarily tremble. Slowly turning around, Xu Nianan saw a black mist, in which there was a faint face, making it difficult to see his face clearly. But seeing this black mist, Xu Nianan's soul couldn't help but tremble. This is an instinct from the soul. He is very dangerous, as if he could take his own life at any time. Roar. Yeah. With two roars, two giant beasts slowly appeared behind Xu Nianan. In the black mist, a grey eye that looked down upon heaven and earth slowly opened. Bang! In an instant, Xu Nianan spun around and fell into a coma. Is this your memory? Let me see how the world here is different. Too weak, this world is too weak, even if one's strength is weak. Xu Nianan had no idea that when she was unconscious, her brain had already been exposed. However, these are all memories of Xu Nianan before he crossed over, and as for the memories before crossing over, they are all covered up by the system. Listening to the sound in the room, Xu Ming's face turned strange. Is this a young person? The energy is really good. On the first day of traveling, Xu Nianan had a dream. In my dream, I obtained an old grandfather, became a disciple, and learned undead magic. Then helped the old man search for his soul and devour half of Huiyuhao's remaining soul. Step by step towards the pinnacle of the world, surrounded by beautiful women like clouds, fragrant, soft, and woody rogue. In her sleep, Xu Nianan was awakened by a big pussy and looked up in confusion. This divine horse situation. Just as I opened my eyes, I saw myself holding a long leg with both hands, which was covered in stockings and had drool stains faintly on it. Jiang Nannan's face was full of shame and anger, covering her body with a blanket. She looked at Xu Nianan with shy and angry eyes, constantly pulling her legs hard. I don't know if it was because the soul power was too exhausted yesterday, or because Xu Nianan grabbed it too tightly and pulled it several times but couldn't pull it out. The two eyes were facing each other, and the atmosphere was a bit off. Wait a minute, this girl seems really angry. No. I feel like it's going to decrease my favorability. There's a solution, there's a solution. Just as Xu Nianan was desperately trying to figure out a solution, he suddenly saw himself naked in his upper body. I suddenly had an idea in my heart. What? What situation? Pretending to be unaware on his face was filled with astonishment. Where are my clothes? Why? Why take a nap? My clothes are gone. And why are you hitting me? After hearing Xu Nianan's words, Jiang Nannan's face stiffened. No, it seems like I took off his clothes myself, and my clothes were also meant to save him. After realizing it, Jiang Nannan also seemed to notice that nothing had happened between the two last night. I just slept on the same bed. After realizing it, Jiang Nannan couldn't help but blush, as if she had wrongly blamed Xu Nianan. She's just a girl, how could she be too embarrassed to explain in this regard? Too much. That's too much. Seeing the embarrassment on Jiang Nannan's face, Xu Nianan chased after him with victory. I risked my life to rescue you from the Xuanming sect, and also took the risk of being dismissed to steal the Xuanwu divine pill, the treasure of the Zhenzong sect, for you. I just fell ill and suddenly fainted. When I woke up, my clothes were gone, and I was. And you. Now, that's how you treat me. That's how you treat your mother's life-saving benefactor. Do you know? Do you know how much harm that big pussy will cause me? P.S. Just now someone said I'm short, laughed, and got angry. I'm asking for a recommendation ticket and leave a comment. It's so cold, why is there no one around? End of this chapter. Chapter 8. I want to retrieve everything that belongs to me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. I want to retrieve everything that belongs to me. Chapter 8. I want to retrieve everything that belongs to me. Xu Nianan became angry and began to dress alone. Xu Nianan noticed herself in the mirror beside her. A head of silver-white long hair, sword eyebrows and starry eyes, with skin as fair as snow, and a faint outline of 4 abdominal muscles on the abdomen. A young body is good. While looking at her current body, Xu Nianan still couldn't forget to gaze at Jiang Nannan reflected in the mirror. Seeing her somewhat bewildered by these words, Xu Nianan's lips curved into a smile. Xu Nianan saw it and Jiang Nannan wanted to explain, but when she saw herself wearing clothes, she looked up and saw his bare skin. She lowered her head shyly, looking hesitant to speak. The entanglement is broken. Xu Nianan won't give her this opportunity to explain. I ate a big pussy myself, and Xu Nianan wants to let Jiang Nannan know that this big pussy is not so easy to repay. He wants Jiang Nannan to live in guilt. As for explaining and apologizing. Sorry, it depends on my mood. Therefore, after putting on his clothes, Xu Nianan walked out of Jiang Nannan's room without looking back. Jiang Nannan was momentarily stunned. When Xu Nianan got dressed, Jiang Nannan originally wanted to stop Xu Nianan and explain. But seeing his current state, Xu Nianan used to be naked, as if he was also naked. If it weren't for the blanket. Never mind, it's better to put on your clothes. Young master. As soon as Xu Nianan opened the door, Xuanming opened his eyes. Upon hearing this, Xu Nianan did not respond, but silently nodded. How about having breakfast before leaving? Upon hearing some commotion here, a haggard blonde woman in the kitchen poked her head out. This person is none other than Jiang Shui. In fact, she had already fully recovered last night and could walk on her own. She also noticed the commotion happening next door. Just when she wanted to investigate, she was stopped by Xuanming. Helplessly, although she didn't want to say it, Jiang Shui also knew that Jiang Nannan must have paid a great price to save herself. Well, auntie. Xu Nianan nodded, although he wanted to temporarily dry Jiang Nannan. But this does not mean that Xu Nianan wants to give up Jiang Nannan directly. As long as Jiang Shui, the mother-in-law, is taken down, then Jiang Nannan can only hold it with one hand. Kitchen, on the dining table. Young man, why don't you sit down and have some? Jiang Shui looked at Xu Ming standing behind Xu Nianan and said. Xu Ming frowned and was about to refuse. Although he may seem like a soul king, as Xu Nianan, it is impossible for Xu Ming to have a table with him. To put it nicely, he is Xu Nianan's guard, to put it bluntly, he is just a horse keeper, Xu Nianan's younger brother, and he is also a younger brother who is eager to become. If you're hungry, sit down and eat. But before Xu Ming could refuse, Xu Nianan's voice slowly began to ring. Upon hearing this, Xu Ming did not refuse again and sat directly on Xu Nianan's right side. And Jiang Shui sat across from Xu Nianan, without any intention of waiting for Jiang Nannan. Breakfast is very simple, deep-fried dough sticks, bread, soybean milk, all of which are noodles, rice, beans. In the Douling Empire, it is not actually expensive, even growing these foods at home, selling some gold soul coins every year, and even enough for one's own family to eat and drink. During the meal, Xu Nianan looked at Jiang Shui for a while and found that Jiang Shui was not easy either. It's not simple here to say that she's anything special, but that she's not an ordinary person. That's right, if Jiang Shui were an ordinary person, how could she have given birth to a genius like Jiang Nannan? Jiang Shui is a soul master with soul power close to that of the soul king. Young man, where are you from? Who else is there at home? What's the relationship with our family's Nannan? As expected, just after eating for a while, Jiang Shui's worries as an old mother were reflected in her. Start asking Xu Nianan some questions. I live in the Xuanming sect, with fields, houses, and food. I have 2 brothers and a strong father. I am the eldest and I understand my aunt's family situation. If Nannan and I get married in the future, you can come and stay. After hearing Xu Nianan's words, both Xu Ming and Jiang Shui widened their eyes. Xu Ming never expected that Xu Nianan would introduce himself in this way, which is not in line with the personality of his young master. And Jiang Shui was indeed frightened. I live in the Xuanming sect. Xuanming sect may only be considered a first-class force on the mainland, but in the Douling Empire, besides the royal family, Xuanming sect is undoubtedly the most top-notch existence. Jiang Shui opened her mouth and wanted to say something more, but before she could speak, a loud bang came. Bang! With a loud bang, the door of the courtyard was suddenly kicked open, and the first elderly man wearing a black robe and a group of people wearing fecal green religious uniforms forcibly broke in. Xu Nianan, you have made such a big deal in the sect. Don't think hiding in the countryside will be okay. Take it from me. With a loud explosion, teams of people wearing green team uniforms immediately surrounded Xu Nianan, their hands unkindly resting on him. Bold! Bang! Xu Ming stood up from the table, with 5 soul rings of yellow, purple, and black appearing on his body. A thick black turtle shell began to slowly attach itself. Those who disrespect Xu Nianan are directly and forcefully shaken away by the powerful soul power. Arrogant. There was once again a sense of fear in the crowd, and 8 soul rings appeared, yellow, purple, black, and black. The leader, dressed in a black robe, didn't even use his martial soul, just quietly released his soul ring and looked at Xu Ming. Xu Ming felt as if he had felt immense pressure, and his forehead was sweating profusely. Pop! Bang! Xu Ming was slapped to the ground, and a large hole instantly appeared on the ground. Xu Ming spat out blood from his mouth and his teeth were almost completely missing. Dare Xu Ming, if you commit the following offenses, you will be imprisoned for 1 month. Xu Nianan, or rather, young master, come with me to return to the sect. Xu Nianan looked up and glanced at the old man in a black robe, and a person appeared in his mind. Xu Jianzong, the fifth elder of the Xuanming sect, has a strength that is infinitely close to the title Douluo. Thank you very much for the kind invitation from Elder Wu. I'll go back with you now, kid. Xu Nianan smiled and knocked on the table with his right hand before standing up. It wasn't until Xu Nianan and his group walked out of the house that Jiang Shui realized. Looking at Xu Nianan's previous seat, there were 2 stacks of gold soul coins on the table. And Xu Nianan had already left the house. Bang! The side room was opened, and Jiang Nannan rushed out like crazy. Xu Nianan. Looking at Xu Nianan surrounded by a group of people, Jiang Nannan let out a shout. Xu Nianan turned around and opened her mouth. Go back. Jiang Nannan heard everything that just happened. Just changing clothes, it's not easy to come out. In her impression, it must have been Xu Nianan who stole the precious medicine from the sect. Now the people of the Xuanming sect are going to arrest him and punish him. In fact, Xu Jianzong did not come to arrest Xu Nianan for this reason. The Xuanwu divine pill is indeed very important in the Xuanming sect, but the Xuanwu divine pill taken by Jiang Shui does not come from the Xuanming sect. This is a reward from the system. The reason Xu Nianan said that his Xuanwu divine pill was stolen from the sect is just to make Jiang Nannan feel guilty. And this time they came to catch themselves, it was just for their good brother Xu Sanshi. Perhaps Xu Nianan used to be a bit tricky before, but now. I'm sorry. This time, I want to get back everything that belongs to me. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Exiting the Xuanming sect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Exiting the Xuanming sect. Chapter 9. Exiting the Xuanming sect. Xuanming sect. Elder Meeting Room. Patriarch Xu Nianan is immoral and incompetent, with a strong sense of jealousy. After his own bloodline awakening failed, he maliciously interrupted the awakening of the 3 Stones bloodline, which led to the failure of the awakening. I propose to abolish the position of Xu Nianan as the young patriarch. Inside the elders' hall, a handsome middle-aged man sat on the main seat with a gloomy expression. On the left side, in the first row, the first person stood up to accuse Xu Nianan of his crimes. There are 2 young people below, one with black hair and the other with white hair. The black-haired boy knelt on his back and cried bitterly. The white-haired boy has a tall figure and is not afraid of criticism at all. This is the protagonist of this event. Xu Sanshi, supported by the Xuanming sect and numerous elders and deacons. And, the center of the event storm, plus the instigator Xu Nianan. Father, please make the decision for me. Child, my heart is bitter. Upon hearing Xu Sanshi's bitter crying, Xu Zong, who was sitting in the main seat, slowly opened his eyes. A faint green light flashed through his eyes. Master, what the second elder said is correct. Such a person without talent and virtue is not worthy of inheriting the Xuanming sect's lineage and inheriting the Xuanming sect's overall authority. The first elderly person in the second row on the right side also stood up to support the proposal. After hearing his words, Xu Zong's face couldn't help but darken. Although Xu Zong had little contact with these 2 sons. But their personalities, cultivation talents, states, and people they have come into contact with have not been concealed from his eyes. The eldest son Xu Nianan loves to play and has poor cultivation talent. Although he holds the position of a young sect leader, he cannot be supported by elders, deacons, and clan elders. Xu Sanshi, the second son, has shown extremely strong cultivation talents since childhood, with innate soul power reaching level 9. Deeply loved by the second elder and others, to the extent that he received a tilted cultivation of cultivation resources, by the age of 12, he had already reached level 27 soul power. Although on the surface, Xu Nianan is the young master of the Xuanming sect. But secretly, there are not many people who acknowledge his identity as a young master, especially these powerful elders. Simply put, Xu Sanshi has already established his own team surrounded by second elder and others. But Xu Nianan had nothing, and he was destined to lose this battle. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I, Xu Nianan, am not convinced. As Xu Nianan's 3 deafening sounds fell, all eyes turned to him. Xu Nianan had a resolute gaze and stood in place like a javelin. This is not fair. Recalling the memories of her predecessor in her mind, Xu Nianan's eyes gradually darkened. From childhood to adulthood, I did not argue or compete with my younger brother. Father, you doted on him, and the elders loved him. But why is this? Why do all the good things belong to Xu Sanshi? I am the leader, I am the young master of the Xuanming sect. Now he still wants to seize the position of my young master. Ha ha ha. Speaking of this, Xu Nianan suddenly smiled. The laughter was somewhat desolate, with a sense of desolation centered around him, spreading all around. Countless people were like falling into an ice cave, feeling suffocated in this environment. Yes, 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 I'm a useless person like me who doesn't love and doesn't hurt my uncle, so I should abdicate and give up. Everything about me is given by you. You can take it back if you want. As these 2 sentences fell, Xu Nianan's eyes began to gradually become sharp. I, Xu Nianan, declare my withdrawal from the Xuanming sect from this moment on. When someone came forward to accuse him, the people in the sect remained silent, and no one stood up to speak for Xu Nianan. From this moment on, Xu Nianan knew that she had lost. But definitely not losing to Xu Sanshi. Do you want to give up the Xuanming sect? The power of the Xuanming sect is extremely powerful and has a unique influence in the Douling Empire. Within the sect, there are at least 5 titled Douluo. This kind of power, Xu Nianan wants to say no, it's fake. Unfortunately, my current self has lost the hearts of the people. He is advancing by retreating. Under the operation of the second elder and the third elder, there is no comparability between myself and Xu Sanshi. There is only one path left in front of Xu Nianan now. He must abdicate, but Xu Sanshi cannot sit on it yet. That's why he said he lost, but not to Xu Sanshi. Didn't Xu Sanshi want this seat? Aren't they saying they have no talent or virtue? Although I don't know if what they are saying is true or false, I don't have it myself and I just want to get rid of my competitors. In this way, even if he retires, does he still deserve to have Xu lie in front of him and Xu Sanshi? Xiao, the young master has withdrawn from the Xuanming sect. How could this be? You know his father is. At the moment when Xu Nianan announced his withdrawal from the Xuanming sect, the second elder and the third elder secretly said something bad and looked up at the main position. As expected, Xu Zong's face on the throne was gloomy, and the veins around his eyes were constantly beating. It is obvious that he was not lightly angered. Although second elder and third elder wanted Xu Nianan to step down from the position of young patriarch, they didn't want him to step down from the sect. Anyway, this matter is a private matter of the 2 brothers Xu Nianan and Xu Sanshi. Plus, Xu Zong may even be just a small family matter. Now the 2 of us have intervened and let one of their sons leave home, causing a rift between father and son, and a rift between brothers. We will suffer. The 2 were about to explain when Xu Nianan's voice rang out again. Xu Sanshi, don't cry hypocritically anymore. I won't argue anymore, and I won't compete with you anymore. Please don't disturb my life, let alone touch your sister. In law, otherwise. Brothers won't be able to do it. Counterattack. It was only then that Xu Nianan truly launched a counterattack. As expected, at the moment when Xu Nianan's words fell, Xu Zong's eyes on the main position immediately turned cold. What's going on? A cold voice echoed through the elder hall, and in an instant, the elder hall fell silent. Xu Sanshi widened his eyes, revealing disbelief, and turned to look at Xu Nianan. Looking back at Xu Zong. Father's affairs are actually not what you think. Before Xu Sanshi could finish speaking, Xu Zong's voice rang out again. I'm asking you, what's going on? After hearing Xu Zong's words, Xu Sanshi instantly lowered his head and dared not speak again. Seeing this, Xu Nianan sneered and took a step forward. I don't know if it was my second brother's intention or the elder's intention. The person who awakened my bloodline is my person, my lover. If it weren't for me being there that day, I'm afraid I would have let my second brother succeed and then bully my brother and sister. In law. Bang! Xu Zong stood up from the main position, his gaze fixed on the second and third elders. Both bodies trembled. No. No. Father is deceiving people, that's not at all. He just doesn't want to see my bloodline awaken, he just can't see me well. Is his name written on that woman's body? Her purine body, virginity body, is a condition for awakening her bloodline. Why can't I go up? Don't say they're fake, even if they're real, it's like not getting married. Bang! Before Xu Sanshi could finish speaking, a tremendous force instantly overturned him, and Xu Nianan's cold voice rang out. Bold and arrogant. Repeatedly provoking me, Xu Sanshi, I want to fight your soul. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Winning the Millennium Soul Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Millennium Soul Ring Winning. Chapter 10 Millennium Soul Ring Winning. Xuanming Sect Training Soul Fighting Field. Have you heard that the eldest and second young masters have started a fight, and the elders and sect leaders have been alarmed? Why? Why? Aren't the eldest and second young masters always willing to let the water in a well flow into the river? Why? Well, water doesn't invade river water. When you know, the Xuanming sect has disbanded. I heard that the second young master wanted to have an affair with the first young master's woman, his sister. In law, and was discovered by the first young master. TSK 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 TSK. The news that Xu Nianan and Xu Sanshi were going to fight their souls quickly spread throughout the entire Xuanming sect. Countless disciples of the Xuanming sect ran to the training arena to see the souls of their two brothers. At the same time, the news of Xu Sanshi bullying his brother and sister. In law also spread throughout the Xuanming sect. Xu Nianan achieved one of his goals. Aren't they saying they have no talent or virtue? Does Xu Sanshi, who now has the reputation of bullying his brother and sister. In law, still have virtue? On the soul fighting arena, Xu Nianan, dressed in a dark red robe, stood with her hands down, quietly staring at Xu Sanshi across from her. Now, all I need to do is defeat Xu Sanshi, which will prove that I am stronger than Xu Sanshi. More talented than him. At that time, what face does Xu Sanshi have to sit in the position of the young master? Big brother, I don't think this soul fighting is necessary anymore, right? What are you fighting against me, level 27 soul power? We have a significant difference of 10 levels between us, a big level difference. Looking at Xu Sanshi's arrogant appearance, Xu Nianan smiled and shook her head. Some people, some things, as a true man, cannot escape. I don't want to compete with you for my father's favor, elder's love, cultivation resources, and even the position of young master. But my people, my things, will always be mine. I won't give them to you, you can't move. Xu Sanshi shook his head. He doesn't even care about what Xu Nianan said, because in his eyes, as long as he wants it, as long as there is something in this world, the elders will bring it to him, because he is the future heaven of the Xuanming sect, the true heir. If you toast, don't eat, or get punished, don't blame your younger brother for making you leave the Xuanming sect in embarrassment. As the words fell, 2 pale yellow soul rings rose from Xu Sanshi's body. Upon seeing this scene, at the highest point of the soul fighting field, Xu Zong, who had been watching everything, frowned. Why did flesh and blood brothers cannibalize each other? Thinking of this, Xu Zong's eyes were fixed, and he turned to look at the 2 leftists, the second elder and the third elder. The bodies of the second and third elders trembled. At the same time, outside the Xuanming sect, a beautiful shadow walked alone. I, Jiang Nannan, please meet the leader of the Xuanming sect. The guard stationed at the entrance of the Xuanming sect saw Jiang Nannan's face change and thought of the day before when his young master took him out. What is she doing today? And we also need to call on the sect leader by name. In no time, a person walked towards the direction of the soul fighting field, and when he returned, another person followed him. It was from within Jiang Nannan's house that Xu Nianan was captured, the 5th elder of Xuanming sect, Xu Jinzong. Come with me, my lord is willing to see you. It is obvious that Xu Zong is not completely ignorant. He at least knew who Xu Sanshi had awakened his bloodline and who his eldest son's woman was. Jiang Nannan followed Xu Jinzong nervously to the training arena. Here, she saw the most powerful individuals of the Xuanming sect. Master, I have brought it. Xu Jinzong bowed to a middle-aged man, and Jiang Nannan turned his head to look at him. Knowing that the middle-aged man in front of him with a dignified expression may be Xu Nianan's father. Pop it. Xu Nianan is not guilty, everything is because of me. Please let Nianan go, my lord. I am willing to take responsibility for everything. Before Jiang Nannan could finish speaking, she was lifted up by an inexplicable soul power. Jiang Nannan looked up and saw a satisfied expression on Xu Zong's face. Okay, it's not in vain for Nianan to give up the position of young patriarch for you, and even fight with his brother for you. Following Xu Zong's gaze, the 2 figures below were facing each other. One of them instantly attached green armor, and 2 yellow soul rings flew out. He was extremely fast and quickly approached before the other person could react. The first soul skill, Xuanming Zhen. Bang! The earth collapsed, and a powerful soul power erupted. Xu Nianan was directly shaken away by the powerful soul power and spat out a mouthful of blood in the air. Xu Nianan, I'm going to show you the difference between us. You can never match me. Ultimately, the difference in soul power is too great. Upon seeing this scene, Xu Zong sighed and withdrew his gaze. The next scene doesn't need to be watched anymore. The difference in soul power is really huge. Xu Nianan didn't even react and was directly knocked away. The second soul skill, the Xuanming shield. With a flash of the second soul ring rising from Xu Sanshi's body, the turtle shell on his back split into many fragments, and another turtle shield was condensed in his hand. He raised it high and was about to smash Xu Nianan heavily in mid-air. No. Xu Nianan, be careful. Jiang Nannan, who was watching all of this from a high place in an instant, couldn't sit still. Now, all of this is because of herself. If it weren't for saving oneself. If it weren't for stealing the Xuanwu divine pill for oneself. If it weren't for himself, Xu Nianan would still be his towering young master of the Xuanming sect. He would never give up his position as the young leader of the Xuanming sect, let alone fight his younger brother here, risking his life. Upon hearing the familiar voice, Xu Nianan turned her head with blood-stained corners of her mouth. Not far away, a stunning blonde girl was anxiously looking at her. Seeing Jiang Nannan's anxious and flustered appearance, suddenly her chest stopped hurting, and a smile curved around Xu Nianan's mouth. Ding! Congratulations to the goddess Jiang Nannan for increasing her favorability towards the host. Ding! Congratulations to the host for increasing the lifespan of the first soul ring by 100 years. Ding! Congratulations to the host for exceeding the lifespan of the first soul ring by 1,000 years. Goddess Jiang Nannan. 55 likes. The first soul ring has a lifespan of 1,500 years in Xu Nianan's mind. Evil Alex looked at the circle around him that had turned from yellow to purple, with a surprised expression on his face. Interesting, interesting. This soul ring not only contains soul power, but also allows for growth. On the soul fighting field Xu Sanshi appeared in the mid-air of Xu Nianan. The second soul ring on his body kept shining, and the smile on his lips grew stronger. Xu Nianan, you lost. Since you have already said you want to quit the Xuanming sect, then go away. Before Xu Sanshi could finish speaking, he suddenly felt the air start to cool down. I don't know when Xu Nianan's mouth also sneered. Not long after, a soul ring shimmering with purple light floated out, and a snow-white turtle shell appeared on Xu Nianan's body. The first soul skill, Xianbing Zhen. Crunching the temperature in the soul fighting field rapidly decreased, and snowflakes drifted down. A dragon head with a turtle back, ice armor, and huge claws, carrying a snake-like creature's phantom behind it, flickered slightly. Roar! Bang! With a white wave of air, Xu Sanshi was touched with Xu Nianan as the center. Directly passively turn into ice cubes. Level 27, Great Soul Master. But that's all. P.S. No one is cool. After reading the comments one by one, it's okay to give them a quick review. I don't have any background without anyone. End of this chapter.